So, I've been playing Astroneer recently, and that's basically opened up my mind to something. But I do not want to make a space game, just to clear that up, with all the planets and that. But it did make me realize that I would quite like to work on a 3D game. However, it needs to look good. And where's a better place to start than the lighting itself? Well, just before the lighting, we'll be first making a little scene to test this out on. So, let's quickly switch to it. Here we go. And that's essentially what I intend to do here, right? What I want to do is essentially take this scene and make it look really good. I've done some like very basic post processing effects on it, and I mean the sun is a bit, it's red, but that'll do. And I've already made some terrain over here as well, and you can go past these buttons, but that's just gonna get blocked up anyways. Anyways, I made a simple little blocked out scene with I must say, it is kind of interesting. It's got an interesting outline to it, and my main intention here is to, well, get a day-night cycle, really, and add some extra lighting around. But essentially, that's the crux of what I want to be doing right now. Now, you may be wondering, what am I going to use as assets? Well, thanks to a past me from like several years ago, I just so happen to have a bunch of low poly assets from a Humble Bundle sale as you can see here. And honestly, I forgot who they were from, but I like the look of these like fantasy assets, which are really just medieval assets. Some of them are janky to use, of course, but most of these models are good to go. So it's time to put my scene together using what I can. As you can see here, I've put together the scene using what assets I could scrounge up, and I also have a working day-night cycle ish. I say that, but right now, the sun just loops back to the start as soon as it turns night. And I also had fun discovering how to set up the world environment energy multiplier thing. I derived that from this equation, which took an embarrassingly long time to figure out. But it worked as a proof of concept. You can see how the scene also goes back to black, since the formula returns zero when the cycle starts and stops. The formula worked for the current intention of just seeing if it would work, and it did. But I wanted the lighting to more or less ease in and out. Also, I didn't want the scene to just go completely black. So, I went back to the drawing board and formulated a new expression. Anyway, this part came out with something that I just did not want at all. There was no easing in or out of light and dark, but what did I expect? This led me to just stick with the old formula and cap the energy value in the sky to zero point 0.2. Then I added in a full 24-hour clock, which was interesting to make since I really just used a fraction to represent time. I got that done and decided to mess around with some post processing features too, mainly because I wanted to add in volumetric fog. I liked it the last time I used it, so this led me to finish off the scene I wanted to make. This is a very short endeavour, and I kind of like the scene. I didn't plan to add in more stuff, but I decided to add a few extra bits here and there because I was bored. Now, with the scene all finished up and all the lighting and post processing done and that, I decided I can't just leave it here. I wanted to add something else. So that's when I added in an NPC. Now, where's my little guy? There he is. As you can see, I attached a little finite state machine to him. Just make him like go around, and I put a little light on him as well to make him easy to see in the night. And as you can see, he's just moving randomly. And this, I mean, yeah, he just sort of moves around. This little guy, he just sort of walks around. Sometimes he runs, and he turns a bit occasionally, and he just stands still for a little bit. And this is all working, right? So, what if I were to have a lot more of these guys around? So, let's do that real quick. Let me just quickly add in a couple more guys. I've added in a couple more guys here, and as you can see, they're all moving synchronously. And I mean, it definitely does work, but I kind of forgot to add in. Why are you just standing still? Now that's interesting. Other than that, every single one of these guys are just sort of moving at the same exact time because, well, I forgot to just give them all different random numbers. They all share the same pool of random numbers. But you can see you see the idea here. So if I just real quickly were to just go and change that, hold on a second, and then we're back. So I've managed to be able to randomize everything. So here we are. As you can see, everyone is just moving around incredibly randomly, right? I just made them have like random turns and all that because, as it turns out, yeah, they are actually their states are getting randomized every single time. But I mean, it's like 50% chance of them walking, so they're mostly going to walk anyways, right? And the guy who was just like saying still earlier, yeah, that was not really an important issue. Yeah, it was just a small little oversight on my part. But hey, you could see the formations of well, something happened. Where have you gone? Huh. Anyways, you can see the formations of something happening here. Is that like a huh? I did not. I did not account for this. The interactions are fine for now, but I have made a note that there is a potential race condition, but that's just a future me issue. I'm not going to do that in this. As it turns out, the final thing I did was allow for you to inspect each NPC. I also figured out you can see the collision boxes when a Godot game is running. So that was cool. Finally, I gave everyone a personality, even though that does absolutely nothing. And with that, I round off this little mini adventure. It's a fun detour from the current project I'm working on, and now I can finally go back to that. And before I head off, I would like to say a quick thank you for hitting 50 subscribers. I did hit this quite a bit ago, but uh, I kind of procrastinated a bit before making this video. So, anyways, thanks for that. See yous.